Hey you guys, we're going to do scales and chords for the keys of C, F, G, B flat, and E flat. So I'm going to let you watch my hands. We're going to do scales first, and then I'll stop the video, and then we'll talk about chords. So scales, major scales follow a pattern. Pretty much everybody knows the C scale. But the spacing between the notes is the same no matter what key you're in. So I'm going to dig into that a little bit here. So we start the C scale on C, and then the very next note is a whole step up. Now, how do we know that's a whole step? It's two white keys. Well, this would be a half step, and this would be another half step. Two halves make a whole. So this is a whole step, and then up to the E is another whole step for the same reason. We've got half, half, so that's a whole step. Now this E to the F is a half step. Why? Because there's no black key in between. Okay, and then F to G is a repeat of what we had before. It's a half and a half, so this is a whole. And then we got another half, half, so here to here is a whole. And then same thing here. That's a whole, and then here we have a repeat of the EF situation. White to white, but there's no black in between, so this is just a half step. Now let's go back and say this in a different way, and I want you to review this video so you really understand this, okay? Here's how I'm gonna say this scale so that we can apply this to other keys. All right, C, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now, if you memorize that, what you have is the starting note, and then you have two whole steps, whole, whole, half, and then whole, 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 half. It can almost be a little song. C, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. You're doing two wholes at first and then three wholes later, interjected with a half step. Okay, does that make sense? Now we're going to reinforce it by going to another key. Here's the key of G, and I can do it fast, but you may not be able to, so let's do it real slow, and let's apply the same trick, okay? We're going to start on G, and we're going to do the same thing. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Notice that this whole is different because we're going from a white to a black, and in the key of C, we were going. Okay, so it's different. G, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now let's do it in F, and it'll be different again. F, whole, whole, half. See there? And then whole, 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 half. One more time. F, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Every scale, no matter what key I'm in, I'm doing the note of the key. So note, and then whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now we're going to do B flat. There's the note, B flat. Now, note, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And notice that that's different than the other keys. Sometimes we have a half step, or sometimes we have a whole step going from the black to the white. And then we may have a half step going from white to white or black to white. You know, you just have to pay attention because it can be confusing. But it's the same pattern, and if you just remember that a whole step is always half plus a half, and then a half step is just a half. It can be, the half step can either be black to white, white to black, or white to white, okay? Several situations. So once again, the B flat, note, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. The last one we'll learn is E flat. Now this is three flats, trust me on that, we'll talk about that another day, but it uses the very same pattern. Note, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. It's no different. No matter what key you start in, you can apply this pattern. And so if you try other keys, you can discover the major scale in those other keys just by using this same trick, okay? Now the reason I picked C, F, G, B flat, E flat is because those are the main keys that we use for hymn playing. I just really don't use many other keys than those. That's enough to play almost every song in the hymn book. Okay, so what I would recommend is that you memorize every one of these scales. Use the whole, half trick first, and then memorize them later so you can do them kind of quick. Look how fast I can do them. Okay, there's C. There's F. Here's G. Okay, and then B flat. Instead of starting with your thumb, you start on your index finger. See there? And same thing with E flat. So you need to be able to play all 5 of those scales, not fast, but nice and steady, okay? And without your crutch, your trick of using the whole, half. Use the crutch at first to learn it and then memorize it, okay? So that is your assignment for scales. Next, we're going to talk about the chords.